Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Shalev and Humphrey, and we're here for part 2 of The Fantastic Frame. This is a story about Tiger and Luna, two kids from the neighborhood, and when we last left them, they had seen this pig that was talking to them, and the pig is a butler of this house, and Tiger says, "You go ring the doorbell," and Luna says, "No, you go." And so that's where they are right now. And this is the neighborhood house, and it's mysterious, and we're going to find out what happens next in this part of the story. Okay, so they're about to ring the doorbell. That's where we left off. Okay, chapter 3. No one answered, so I rang the door again. Still nothing. "I told you no one comes to the door," Luna says. "Let's just go." "Wait, I'm going to try one more thing." Lifting up the rusty old door knocker that was shaped like a paintbrush, I pounded on the door 5 or 6 times. "Hello in there," I've called out. "I've come for my helicopter." I thought I heard something moving inside, footsteps scurrying around. I guess I should say hoof steps, because I had a feeling that's what they were. The door opened just a crack, enough for me to see an orange pig snout sticking out. And that's this right here, this little pig snout. "Apologies," Chive said. "I didn't mean to run off with your toy, but the mistress is a very impatient woman." "You mean Viola Dots?" Luna said. "We would love to meet her." "I'm afraid that would be impossible," he answered. "Mrs. Dots does not receive visitors. However, if you wait here, I will get your helicopter, which I have placed upstairs for safekeeping." The snout disappeared, leaving the door slightly open. "Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?" Luna asked. "Because if you are, I wouldn't do it." "That's the difference between you and me," I answered. I pushed the door and it swung open. "Come on," I said. "Let's just take a quick look around. We'll be back on the porch by the time Chives comes back downstairs." And look inside this house. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see that there's like a lot of art and different things inside this house. I had assumed that the living room would be dark and dusty, full of creepy old furniture, but it was just the opposite. The inside was one huge room. There was no furniture at all. Lots of dangling crystal lights hung down from the ceiling. "Wow," Luna whispered. "It's all twinkling here, like a fairy tale castle." Big paintings of every kind leaned against the wall. One showed tall stacks of golden hay. Another was a wild-looking starry night with crazy splotches of blue and yellow. There was even one of a lady standing in what looked like a giant clamshell. On the biggest wall hung a frame. It was old and dusty, carved with rabbits and owls and pigs and angels. All the creatures were connected by leafy trees and bunches of grapes. On the bottom of the frame, there was the fanciest clock I had ever seen. It was made of gold, just like the two birds that were surrounding it. The clock didn't seem to work, though. The hand said 5 o'clock. I checked my watch. It was 10 to 4. My Batman watch is never wrong. Inside the golden frame was a painting that sent a shiver down my spine. There was something about it that seemed so frightening, like being in the middle of a bad dream. So here's the frame. And it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a tiger in there. And all these dusty old trees and kind of a jungle. And that's what Tiger is looking at. So Tiger is actually looking at a tiger. It was a picture of a tiger crouched in a thick green jungle. His yellow eyes were wide and glowing. His sharp teeth looked like they were dying for something to bite. It felt like that tiger was going to jump out of the frame and pounce on me at any second. "What exactly is the meaning of this?" I knew that voice, old and shrill, that could only belong to Viola Dots. She burst into the room and marched up to us. Her face set in a deep frown. She was wearing a beaded headband, a peace symbol necklace, and a large paint-splattered shirt. When she pointed at me, I noticed that her wrinkled hands were covered in paint too. "I don't believe you were invited in," she said. This is Viola Dots. She's angry, and here's Luna and Tiger. I just came in to get my helicopter," I tried to explain. "Chives!" she hollered. "Bring the child his toy." Chives came clopping down the wooden stairs and handed me my helicopter. He had put it on a silver tray. "There," Viola Dots said. "You have it. Now leave." This woman was not someone I wanted to argue with. She scared me, and it looked like she hadn't smiled in 50 years. "On my way, ma'am," I said. "By the way, that's a fantastic frame you have there." "Indeed it is," she said. "Now, as I was saying, goodbye." I turned to leave. To my surprise, Luna stayed. That girl would talk to anyone. "Did you do all these paintings?" Luna asked Viola. Viola Dots nodded her head, which made her dangling jewels earrings sparkle like the crystal lights in the ceiling. "You're a very good painter, Mrs. Dots," Luna said. "I paint too, in my magic cave." "Don't talk nonsense, child," Viola Dots answered. "I like what you're wearing," Luna went on in her friendly, chatty way. "Your headband is cool, and I especially love your earrings. I collect glittery stuff too, just like you." Viola didn't answer, but that didn't seem to bother Luna one bit. She chatted right on. "And I make a lot of beautiful things like capes and jewelry and costumes." Luna was talking a mile a minute now. "See this feather hat that I made? Want to see it close up?" Before Viola could say no, Luna walked right up to her. "I collected these feathers from all over the neighborhood, except some of them my grandma bought at a thrift store. And then I arranged them to look like a bird that I saw in my dreams." Viola listened impatiently, not smiling, but not exactly frowning either. I looked over at Chives. He was definitely smiling, at least as much as pigs can smile. "Your creations are indeed lovely, young miss," he said to Luna. I still couldn't believe those words were coming out of a talking pig. "Some of the kids at school make fun of what I wear," Luna said, "but I don't care. I like to be an original." "Yes," Viola Dot said, taking a step towards one of her paintings. "All art requires originality." "Maybe you can come over to my house sometime," Luna said to Viola. "You like to make art, and so do I. I can show you all my supplies." Viola looked surprised. "Come to your house?" she repeated. "That's impossible." "Madame Dots does not leave the house," Chives explained. "She hasn't been outside in over 50 years now. Not since the day her son David disappeared." "Disappeared? What happened to him?" The question flew out of my mouth before I could stop it. "I don't speak of that day," Viola said. "Never. Now go and let me be." I headed for the door. Luna followed me for a few steps, but then she turned back and went to Viola. She reached out and took Viola's paint-splattered hands. Viola seemed shocked, but she didn't pull her hands away. "My grandma says that everything feels worse when you keep it inside," Luna said. "Perhaps the child is right, madam," Chives said. "Perhaps it's time that we spoke of it." Viola Dot shook her head. "There are so many memories, so many questions, and so few answers." She went over to the frame and ran her hand along the carving. She reached up and touched the tiger, following its stripes with her finger. "I remember that day as if it were yesterday," she said. Then Viola Dots took out a handkerchief, dabbed her eyes, and started to speak. So, it's kind of hard to see, but there she is touching the frame, okay? And so as of right now, they've gone to Viola Dot's house. Luna really enjoys talking to Viola. She wants to make her feel better. And there is a talking pig. He is orange, and he is the butler. He takes care of all of the things, and this is what he looks like. And he's orange in the story. And so you kind of have to understand that it's definitely imaginary. This is totally fiction, i.e. a talking pig. And so what we learn in this section is that Viola hasn't been outside of her house for 50 years since her son disappeared, and we don't know what happened to her son, and she won't speak of it. And so now finally she's going to talk about it, and we're going to try to figure out what happened to her son and what it has to do with the frame and where we're going to go from here. And so I'm going to stop there for today. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of suspense, and tomorrow we're going to find out what happened to her son and what it had to do with the frame. That's going to be the next part of the story. Hopefully we'll be able to find out a answer to that. So tune in tomorrow, like and subscribe our videos on YouTube, and we'll see you later. Until next time, this is Mrs. Shalevin Humphrey, bringing you Novel Study. Bye!